Hello, everyone. Oh, my goodness. My goodness, my goodness, my heart. It is pounding in such a beautiful way. I want to welcome all of you to accessing the Aurelian door, opening to bliss. I just had my house just made a sound there. Thank you for being here. Thank you for registering for Golden Threads, weaving ancient wisdom into modern bliss. I have to say, well, first of all, I am Helena Grant. I am the creator, the producer, and the host of this global conference. And I want to say that as I was preparing for this opening ceremony, I was getting ready, and I really felt that you already know me. Even though you don't, it's because I have created this event over the past few months with you in mind. So even though we have not met each other yet, and this may be the first time that you are seeing me and hearing me, we do know each other, because I think that one of the many, many lessons of the year 2020 is how interconnected we all are. And when we come to know ourselves, we come to know those around us that much more. And as we come to know ourselves, we can develop our own golden light and shine it out and have that reflected back at us. So the Accessing the Aurelian Door ceremony is something that came to me as I was preparing for the summit. I was guided very specifically to launch this summit on a Sunday, whereas typically I do events like this beginning on Monday. And so I sort of tuned in to what it would look like to start on a Sunday, and I saw a vision of this sort of event where we can do a little bit of very gentle movement. I do a lot of somatic work with my clients in my transformational life coaching. I am also a 200-hour certified yoga teacher. Yoga has played an extraordinary role in my own personal development and in really accessing my own bliss, my own happiness, and of course, that then inspires me to share it with the world. So this evening, we will do a very, very gentle, seated, guided, intuitively guided movement practice. I do have a few notes, but mostly I'll be tuning into what we need, and also a short meditation called Tonglen, which is a Buddhist practice that really has the concept of giving and taking, receiving and giving. It really can help us transform our own feelings by tuning into what we might feel as the experience of the people around us. And we use the power of our hearts, the power of our bodies, to bring in all of that emotion, that sensation, that response, and we transmute it in our hearts, which is the most powerful machine in the universe. Our hearts has just extraordinary power. We bring all of that into the heart and we change it into something beautiful, something loving, something blissful and joyful. And yes, all of us, we all have access to being able to do that. So, oh my goodness, so many people here. I would love to know in the chat, is there a chat? Yes, there is a chat. Where are you joining from in the world? We have audience members from all over the globe. And so I would love to hear where you are. I am based in Connecticut, in the Northeast. Oh, we're in Oracle, Arizona. Very cool. Tove and Chuck in Salt Lake City. Donna, hello from South Ogden, Utah. Wonderful. Oh, Montreal. Bonsoir, Sylvie. Bienvenue. William from San Francisco. My brother lives there, from LA. Cleveland, Ohio. Colorado. Yes, you did just get snow. I have family there. I hope you're safe with the fires. San Diego. Virginia from North Central Florida, Brunswick, Maine, Wisconsin, Florida, Calgary, Meadowlands, Winnipeg, Ontario, New York. I am a born New Yorker. Oh, Adelaide, Australia. My goodness, it's the middle of the night where you are, isn't it? Or super early morning. My goodness, my time zone converter in my head is probably a little off. Mesa, Arizona, Wilmington, North Carolina, Oceanside, Miami, Manhattan Beach. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so, so much for being here. Vancouver, Reno. Oh, this is really a highly sensational moment to have all of you joining me. See, I just got choked up. So I would love to get started. Southern California, Sarasota, thank you all for being here and for really taking this moment for yourself and taking the initiative to sign up for Golden Threads. We have so much going on in our lives right now, and I was out and about today and I sensed, I know the anxiety is there. I know the grief is there. I know the uncertainty is there, but I really felt it today. I felt that people are starting to really get amped up, completely understandable. And so even more important that we take time to ourselves to ground into our body, because when we're amped up and when the people around us are amped up, we get into our heads and the emotions and the thoughts start to really override our bodies and initiate a lot of adrenaline and sort of that fight, flight, or freeze response. So the work that we are doing today in accessing the Aurelian door, opening to bliss, as well as so much of the messaging that you'll receive throughout this week with all of the presentations in Golden Threads, will help you really, again, open that door that's within you to step through it and find that space that gives you, it's sort of like an armor that you can go out into the world and you can show people, this is not how we have to live. This is not how we have to respond. We can choose another way. So really tuning into being that light bringer, not just a light worker, not just shining the light, but like really bringing it forth and delivering it. Oh, and Tina from Switzerland, hello, hello, yes, love to you as well. Okay, so we are going to get started. I promised this would just be about 30 minutes. And before I forget, I also want to remind you that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time, the time zones are mentioned in the event schedule, I will be teaching a live masterclass called Encapsulation, 3 Keys for Building a Blissful Life. And I have a feeling at the end of this ceremony, I will completely forget to mention that. So I do hope that you will join me live for that. And it's going to be great. It's going to be very cool. Okay, so I will move back towards my mat. I invite you to find your own seat, whatever that might look like, if it's on a chair or a yoga mat. If you are seated on the floor, I recommend sitting on something that elevates your hips. I am seated on a block. You could sit on a pillow, you could sit on a folded blanket, whatever sort of calls to you and your body. And this is making a lot of noise here. I have just some votive candles that I wanted to bring into our space here. And let's just take some nice deep breaths in as we arrive in this seated position. And out through the nose. And we're just going to take 5 deep breaths here just to really arrive and settle in. So in through the nose And out again through the nose. And I invite you, as you take these breaths, to constrict the muscles in the back of your throat and make the sound of the ocean. It's called Ujjayi Breath. And exhaling out. And 2 more breaths, scraping that air against the back of your throat. And back out. And 1 more in. And out. And I am hearing to remind us all that the breath is always available to us whenever we feel any stress or anxiety. Again, that is a response that's bringing us out of the body, and the breath brings us right back in. And you know, we can go many, many days without food, a few days without water. We cannot go very long without breath, but when we're stressed, we tend to hold our breath. So I imagine that already with just those 5 breaths, you feel a little bit more present in your body and in this moment. So let's start with some stirring. So in your seated position, whether you're on the floor or in a chair, I invite you to just start making some circles with your torso coming around, sort of stirring in your hip girdle. Your hips are where we store a lot of emotions. It's sort of this bowl that acts as a receptacle for any emotions that we might have, especially unprocessed emotions. And again, plenty of opportunity to not process our emotions right now. Sometimes there's just too much going on, and so our body willingly receives what our brain cannot handle or refuses to handle. And now I invite you to go in the other direction, the opposite direction of wherever you started with these circles, coming around, breathing as you come forward, maybe exhaling as you go back. Nice, gentle, easy movements at your own pace. You can follow me, but I always encourage all my clients to go at their own pace. We all get to decide how we do things. Okay, and now arriving back in the center, and I would love for us to take an inhale and bring the shoulders up to the ears. And on the exhale, rolling the shoulders back and down, bringing them in towards each other, towards the spine. Oh, just feeling that nice opening in the neck and the shoulders, up towards the ears on the inhale, and back down, rolling them back down. So much stress and tension go into our shoulders as well. Coming up again in the inhale, and exhale, rolling them back down. You might feel some creaking, some cracking. That's totally normal. This is a season of our joints, feeling some dryness up towards the ears and back down the back. And one final time, up towards the ears and back down. Oh, enjoying that sensation of the opening. Just again, it's so simple, but something that we forget to do. You know, we get like this, we hold our breath and we tense up our shoulders. So remembering to keep that space for everything that we need. And now if you would bring your head to the side, and I'm mirroring you, so this is your left ear down to your left shoulder. And wherever that feels comfortable, and then bring your right opposite arm out to the side, stretching, getting a really nice stretch and opening there in the neck, maybe even bringing the hand up to the side of the head, not pushing or pulling, just a little bit of extra encouragement. Breathing here, remembering the breath. And on the next inhale, bringing the head back, using your hand to help it back to center. Inhaling, and on your next exhale, bringing the right ear down to the right shoulder. Not crunching it down. You're not trying to meet your ear to your shoulder. You're just trying to, again, open up some space in that left side of the neck. And you can reach your left arm out to the side, breathing, feeling that space, and perhaps bringing that right hand up to the side of the head, encouraging a little bit more deepening into the pose. And on the next inhale, using that right hand to bring the head back up. Breathing in that center space. And now I will invite us to do some seated cat-cow. Often cat-cow is done on all fours, but for our practice this evening, we're going to stay seated. And this is an amazing posture for the spine and also the shoulders. And so on your inhale, you're going to arch your back forward, bringing your chest towards the screen, and on the exhale, bringing the shoulders down and around, arching the back, pulling in your core muscles, feeling the stretch along the backs of the shoulders. And on the inhale, coming into that opposite arching of the back, probably feeling some real opening in your sternum and envisioning a light just emanating from the center of your being. And on the exhale, curving back in the opposite direction, maybe even bringing your head down a little bit, pulling on your knees. And on the inhale, arching forward into cow. And on the exhale, arching in the opposite direction. And two more. Inhale, bringing that chest forward, shoulders back. And the exhale, coming into cat. And one last time, inhale, cow, and exhale again. One final time, arching the back, and then coming to center. Breathing in that space, that opening, and I am sensing some pain in my chest here now that I have opened up my body to receive messages. I often sense things in a physical way. I consider it an absolute honor that my body responds to other people's emotions in this way. It wasn't always easy growing up to be able to sense what others were feeling, but I know that there is, again, so much grief and anxiety in our world. And so if that is something that you are feeling, I welcome that always, and especially in this space. And it brings me great joy because that was part of the guidance as I designed this practice this evening, the movement and the meditation, that grief would play a role in what we accomplish this evening. So we're going to move now into our Tonglen practice. And again, Tonglen is an ancient Buddhist practice that is founded on the concept of giving and receiving. And that is a balance that sometimes we can struggle with. Oftentimes, I think especially with women, but with men as well, there's a lot of giving. And it can sometimes be harder to receive. And so with Tonglen, we're actually taking in something that is quite painful and might cause suffering in ourselves and others. And again, we use the vehicle of the body, the vehicle of the heart, to transmute that suffering into joy and bliss. And I imagine at this point you realize bliss is a foundational aspect, not just of Golden Threads, but of my work in the world. And I use Tonglen as a personal practice quite regularly. and also something that really helps my clients, especially when we come across an experience that makes us feel very stuck and causes constriction in the body. So using the breath, which again is always accessible to us, we move that energy and we change it into something else, and we deliver it to the world in a really beautiful way. So through the practice of Tonglen that we're going to do, we will be taking 5 intentional breaths together, but they will be spaced out. So over the next few minutes, please take more than 5 breaths. And if you experience any lightheadedness, if you start to feel queasy at all, I invite you to back off the practice a little bit. This is an incredibly powerful approach to, again, working with reducing attachment. That is very easy for us to do as humans, to get attached to certain things, to grasp them and want to clutch. And also to really help purify our karma. So when we do that, again, we can show up in the world in such beautiful, beautiful ways. It also really helps us expand ahimsa, which is a Sanskrit term for loving kindness. And that is really, I mean, if we could all just employ ahimsa, loving kindness towards ourselves, and cultivate it in such a powerful way that it not only protects us, but also benefits the world, I truly think that we can attain world peace. So thank you again for being here this evening to do this very, very powerful Tonglen practice. So enough of an introduction, I believe. Let us begin. So again, there will be 5 sort of pillars to this Tonglen practice. And just breathing normally at the moment, preparing ourselves to take a really nice deep breath. Not taking that deep breath quite yet, but really bringing to mind that experience of grief, which is a word that we have such aversion to in our modern society. It's something that we're not supposed to feel. It's something that we're supposed to just let go of. And I believe that grief has incredible gifts for us and deepens us and teaches us so many things and enables us to connect with such a profound aspect of the human experience. So if you would call to mind for yourself any experience of grief or whatever that word grief brings to mind for you. And just thinking about yourself as you are here in this immediate present moment, kind of letting that word grief wash over you like a wave. Thinking of yourself seated in this Aurelian door ceremony, the clothes you're wearing, your environment, really just closing your eyes, but calling to mind an image of yourself. And as you do, I invite you to take a deep, deep inhale, breathing in probably that thick, tar-like substance that surrounds grief. Deep, deep, deep inhale through the nose. And as you inhale, I want you to hold that in your heart. Breathe it into your heart and hold it in that space. Hold that breath just for a brief moment, knowing that your heart welcomes in that grief and is willing to change it into a sparkling golden light. And as you know that shift occurs, I invite you to exhale through the nose and envision this incredible gilded light just surrounding you as you are in this moment, seated here, doing this Tonglen practice. Just a sparkling golden light enveloping you. and filling your space and all of your cells with just a halcyon experience. Maybe feeling some lightness even as you take that, as you just took that one complete breath. And now breathing normally, I invite you to envision what the people around you might experience as grief. And now, as you envision them, you see yourself witnessing them. But in this circumstance, you see yourself as this really illuminated, golden being, because you have taken your own grief and transmuted it in such a beautiful way. And you can sense the grief around you. And because you have positioned yourself in this incredible golden light, you feel absolutely prepared to take on any of that thick, black, sticky, tar-like substance that grief seems to show up as. And you feel almost a little bit of a zing in your body, that you feel prepared to take your next inhale, breathing in deeply all of that thick black tar, sticky substance of grief of the people around you. And as you breathe it in, you hold it in your heart, allowing your heart to accept it and transmute it and change that thick black tar into, again, a sparkling golden light that you breathe out through your nose or your mouth. And as it comes out of you, it envelops all of those people that you thought about that are close to you experiencing grief. It envelops them with a beautiful, sparkling golden light. It's like champagne that has just been poured over everyone. Just that essence of champagne is this beautiful celebration and culmination of delight and joy. And you see the people that you love that are around you, they light up with that golden light, and they don't even know why. It's just from being around you and having you really take on their grief and turn it into bliss and joy. And with maybe even a smile on your face, you feel prepared to move on to more people, a bigger concept of your state, perhaps your town, your state. And you think of all the people experiencing that grief, that uncertainty, that anxiety, and you feel ready to breathe in that deep, deep, deep inhale, bringing it all of that reviled experience, that emotion that people want to deny and get rid of, and you just bring it all in with your breath, and you hold it in your heart, your beating heart that just wants to change all of that grief into a new experience, a truly gilded experience for yourself and for everyone else. And as you hold it in your heart and you know that it has changed, you breathe it out through your nose, out through your mouth, envisioning all of that air coming out of you from your exhale, just enveloping your town or your state, all of those people. You have more than enough power to just envelop everyone with this blanket of golden light, sparkling just like a firework, exploding and just enveloping everyone with a warmth, a golden, Aurelian warmth. And now you feel more than ready to take on an even bigger task, a larger task, maybe even an insurmountable task to some, but you know that that grief that you took from yourself, from your loved ones, from your town or your state, you just breathe that in. And now you're ready to do it for your country. Wherever you are in the world, you breathe in all of that thick, black, putrid smell of the grief that people are denying and repressing. You just breathe that in with a deep inhale. bringing it into your heart that has expanded throughout this practice. You have more than enough space to handle all of that for everyone. And you hold it in your heart. You welcome it, you hug it, you embrace it, knowing that just in doing so, you are turning it into exactly what the world needs. And feeling it shift and feeling prepared to let go of a tremendous exhale, enveloping your country. Beautiful, beautiful light falling down, glittering, and just being welcomed by everyone. They don't know where this gift of golden light comes from, but you know that it comes from you, it comes from your heart, and from your heart it goes to their hearts. Let's just breathe normally for a minute here, knowing that we have done just incredible work for our countries, and knowing that our countries, they're not just our countries. We belong to one another. We belong to the earth. And many people want us to forget that, and it is easy to forget. But we're here because we remember, and we're ready to help other people remember that we belong to ourselves, we belong to each other, we belong to the earth. And so now, knowing that we have transmuted our own grief with this golden light, we have transmuted the grief of those that we love that surround us, we have transmuted the grief of our town, of our state, the grief of our country. All of that anxiety has been alleviated. Now we feel prepared to do this on the largest scale possible. Now we feel prepared wherever we are in this moment, in our own space. We feel prepared to do this for the world. And so calling to mind all of that terrifying grief that so many people feel, that so many people deny, that so many people repress, that so many people wish they didn't have to feel, we feel willing to feel it for them, to turn it into something else. And so perhaps even with some chills in your body, you bring in all of that thick, black, putrid, disgusting, tar-like, sticky grief. Inhaling it into your heart, holding it in that beautiful space in the center of your being that is the beginning of your own universe. It's a beating heart, holding it there. And with a final exhale, breathing it out all over the earth, enveloping the globe in that beautiful blanket of sparkling golden light. Just envisioning people everywhere, feeling hugged, embraced, totally enveloped, and feeling the lightness perhaps that you feel as well. They may not know what has happened, but they know that they feel different. You know that you feel different. You know that you have opened a door within yourself, a golden gilded door, an auriferous space, a space that many, many saints and mystics have accessed in their own lives, perhaps through their own grief, through their own pain, through their own suffering. They opened that door within them. And in doing so, in accessing that space, they had a golden light that encircled them. And they want us to know that that golden light is there for us. It's available to us, and it is ready for us to use at any moment, not just for ourselves, not just for those we love, but for everyone. And now, breathing normally, coming again back into the body. We traveled many miles together in that experience. And I feel called to offer a blessing that will first be fueled by my profound gratitude for all of you for being here, for your willingness to experience this profound power that exists within all of us. I would like to express my profound gratitude to all the directions, the east, the south, the west, the north, the above, the below, and the within. My gratitude to all of my spirit guides, my angels, and to God. Thank you for bringing us here together. Thank you to all the energies that support me and all of us. Thank you for everything that just came through me. And may the words that I deliver, the messages that I convey, be exactly what everyone needs to hear at exactly the right moment. With every breath I take, I send extraordinary blessings to all of you and all of your loved ones, all of the people in your towns, your states, your countries, and to all over the world. From the golden light within me to the golden light within you, to the golden light that connects all of us, I bow. Namaste. Okay, everyone. Going to come up to the screen. I would love to know. Oh, Donna here in Dayville, Connecticut. Oh, we went a little bit over, but if you are still with me, I would love to know how that felt for you, the Tonglen experience. Do you feel any difference in your body? Do you feel that opening? Thank you, Molina. Thank you. Thank you. As some seem to overlap the times. Okay, thank you so much, Christine. I so appreciate that. It felt lovely. Yes, it felt wonderful. It does. It feels so, so wonderful. And again, this is something that you can really access at any moment, at any time. Loved it. Helped me get ready for a 6-day run in retail. Go get them, Virginia. Bo, the lovely meditation, it's called Tonglen, Tonglen. The champagne image was very powerful and stimulating. It was interesting that that came to me because I actually don't drink champagne. I used to drink a lot of it. But I love that idea of the golden light and the bubbles that are in there. Thank you. Yes, blessings to you, Yvonne. Opening experience. Yes, opening, exactly. We opened up that space within us. Thank you. Thank you. Helping you reconnect, Tamara. I'm so happy to hear that. Namaste, all the way up for your volume. Okay, thank you for letting me know about the sound. I will work on that. I will definitely work on that. And love the champagne metaphor, Angela. Thank you. And yes, Melanie grew up in Norwich, 860, represent. Thank you for sharing my practice with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness, I feel that I could just stay here all night saying thank you, but I will close it out. I look forward to welcoming you all, hopefully tomorrow, for the encapsulation masterclass that will be very igniting and also very activating and inspiring. So here I am remembering to remind you of that. But I send you so many blessings and so much love. Thank you all again, and enjoy the Golden Threads Global event. Mwah! Bye.